Welcome to the Brook Hill Women's Podcast. We're so excited that you're joining us and listening to this conversation with MeLisa and myself. We talk about friendships, talk about relationships in all seasons of life and how nuanced they are. So we're excited that you'll get to join us for this topic. We just want to remind you the Brook Hill Women's Retreat is coming up April 10th through 12th. Registration is still open. We would love for you to join us. Bring your group, bring your friends, come by yourself, whatever it is. We just want to see you there. Thanks for joining us today. All right. Well, it's just MeLisa and I today, and we're excited. We love just to get to converse and talk about things that matter and things that women go through that is relevant to them. Real quick, too, the spring weather has come, even though I don't know. Will it last?
I don't know that it's going to be here for solid.
We don't know. But it's
very exciting.
Us such an excitement for the retreat coming up in the spring. And we're just believing that the weather will be perfect.
Yes,
and so we can do all the things that we have planned.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, April 10th through 12th. We've got this retreat coming. We've been meeting with the speakers. We've been meeting with worship team. We've been really nailing down all of the details.
So exciting.
It's just the anticipation is so great.
It is.
And
it is.
We're very excited about all these women who are coming.
For sure.
And just all the things, even down to like the concessions that we're having and all the special little things that we've got going on. I think every woman's going to come and just be really blessed, and it's going to be a fun time. So
this is when the fun starts. I think it's just when you get down to those, it's like it's the details that are really, really fun.
Make it really special.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my personality too, but like the big picture overall, I don't know if it's necessarily like overwhelming, but maybe it's a little vague. You know, where it's like, oh, we want to have a women's retreat and it's going to be great. And women on the ranch. It's like, oh, that's cool. And that's exciting. But then when you get into like, oh, let's have this form, or let's do this on this night, or let's have this fun activity or whatever, then it's like, oh, that, I don't know. It makes it feel like more real or like tangible, or like they're going to, I don't know.
We've been planning
more
this
specific.
for a year.
A year, yeah.
And so it's weird when it comes close to time that you can actually feel what it's going to be.
It does feel so far away when you first start having conversation about anything. And I mean, a vacation or whatever, but something like this, it feels very far away. And like I said, kind of vague, and almost feel like the kind of someday, like it feels like a someday. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's 6 weeks away and it's happening and it's going to be so fun. And
but registration's still open. We've got women registering still. And so I think coming with a group or coming with a couple friends is, I know it takes a while to plan all of those things. Yeah. And so we're keeping registration open because it's so many plates that you have to figure out how to keep spinning it before you come. And so it takes a lot of planning. So we're excited for more women to be registering and coming. So, we have been just contemplating this thought of just friendship and what friendship looks like in the lives of women from really early on. I mean, you can think of like back when you're a kid, how much friendships mean to everybody, men and women alike. But I would say that in the lives of women, friendships are it's a little nuanced. It's ever changing. It ebbs and flows. And one of the things, though, that I've gained a revelation on is how crucial it is and how much it matters to the Lord.
There's no doubt.
The friendships that we have and who we live our life with, number one, but just the people who we allow to speak into our lives, who we spend the most time with. I think that I've had friends. There's been friends who I've had to pray for. There's been friends that God has just brought into my life, and it's been totally different.
For sure. Depends. Seasons of life make that ebb and flow. there are seasons of life, probably in childhood, at the beginning of that, where friendships are everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is everything.
It's your
It's
whole
your
life.
lifeline. It's
Yeah.
your whole life. I would say high school feels a little bit
Mm-hmm.
like that, because it's all you do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you are in class with these people, and then your extracurriculars, usually your like sports teams, are those same people, and then your weekend hangouts are those same people, and then for a lot of people, your church like youth group affiliation, are with that. So it's your life. I mean, it is everything. And it is maybe more so for girls than boys, but it is so full of nuance. It is so full of drama. Good or bad. I mean, it just is that's just in there, where that's part of it that's kind of ever changing. And then of course into adulthood, it brings a whole new set, of circumstances, usually a whole new set of friends, Then you get into married life. And to me, that's probably the hardest phase for friendships, because you are trying to blend your friendship groups in sometimes, in a lot of ways, or you're trying to find like, I really get along with her and we have a lot in common and I love her personality. And then he's like, her husband's a doofus. Like, I don't want to hang out with him. So then you're like, okay, well, that's not like a couple's friend. That's just my friend, and then getting those together. So I think that's a really challenging season.
Yeah.
And when you start having babies, I feel like nothing can separate and bring division with friendships more than babies, because everybody parents so differently.
Totally different, yeah.
And so there's a whole lot of like, that was my kid, I wouldn't do it, or why do they do it this way? Or just judgment and, ideas on how that should be done. And literally even in the same circle, same church a lot of times, like-minded people, you would think we all parent exactly the same. Not true. And so then it's like, man, we were so close, but now the hangout just looks totally different when either kids are in the mix or it's so much effort. You have to find babysitter and all that stuff. And so, and then as you go on, there is constant change in friendships. And so learning to navigate that, I think, can be so challenging.
Yeah. Well, every relationship in our life takes a lot of effort and tending and work and care and what you can think of like husband, wife, you can think of children, like your relationship with your children. You can think of your parents. You think of like siblings, even like a mentor relationship or mentee. And all of those relationships take so much time and effort. And
nothing just happened. They're not natural.
Happens.
Yeah.
And I think that this is probably not true for everybody. But for me, there was a period of time where I just felt like those were supposed to be the easy. That was supposed to be the easy relationship in my life.
Yeah.
And if
it's not, you think, what is wrong with it? Like, what is the deal here? Why is it can be such a frustration. Yeah.
And, there are friends that you have that you do just kind of naturally can connect with. And it's very, very easy. And a lesson, I would say, if I was speaking with my younger self, like late teens, early 20s, it was very hard and very jarring when something felt a little unnatural, and then you just were like, oh, maybe this is just not going to be it for me. And you don't have to mesh with everybody. You don't have to be best friends with everyone, but it's the thought of, this is not supposed to be hard. This is not supposed to be something that I really have to work on. And so, but in your late teens, early 20s, you typically have a lot of friends because
Yeah, it's
either
built
you're
in.
going into college or
Mhm.
you just finished high school and you're gaining these like deeper
Yep.
relationships because you're living a little bit more life outside of
Working
high
at summer
school. You're
camp.
working at
Yeah,
camp, you're doing things.
mhm.
And so you just sometimes because of proximity to all of these friends, you have all these people in your life. And then as you get older and everyone's kind of honing in on where they're actually going to plant roots,
Yeah.
what job they're going to have. Did they get married? Are they
Oh, yeah.
starting to have kids?
Yeah.
It totally changes. And if you have friends who maybe are entering seasons a little bit ahead of you,
Yeah. Mhm.
that can be hard to
Stay connected
stay connected.
yeah.
But also, I think it's easy to be like discouraged, not just because they're entering into different seasons of life, but sometimes I have found that there's almost grief it's a big word. That's a big word. That might be an overstatement, but a
Mhm.
little like a sadness of it's going to look totally different now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is a grieving of what was.
Yeah.
You know, it's a chapter that's closing. It's a season that's ending. And even if that person is still in your life, it looks different. You know, which you can talk about seasons. It's the same year, but winter looks very different to spring, you know, and it's like it's the same friendship. It's the same two people, but we're different now, you know, and that has to be okay. One thing that I learned from Mim years ago, we were having a conversation and I was just asking her something about, you know, how she's done that or why she was able to do that or why that was okay or, you know, something like that. And she just said, I hold everything with an open hand, you know, and she held her hand out and she just said that. And she just said, everything just passes through. And it's like, I'm just here and whatever the Lord puts here is for now. And she said, and that is people, that's my children, that's my marriage, that's my home, that's my stuff, that's it's like it belongs to the Lord. I don't have a hold on any of it. And if he wants to take it away or bring it in, it's all for his glory. It's all meant to be life-giving and to trust the Lord that if it's not, it's time to move on and he's going to do that, you know? And even if something is great and was great, we don't know God's plan. We don't know the big picture.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I have had so many different iterations of friendships in my life now at this age. And, you know, I can think of great friends who were still great friends. Nothing happened. There was no downfall, but they moved on from my life. And that to let that be okay, you know, to say to yourself, whatever they need, whatever the Lord is doing in their life and whatever the Lord is doing in my life that I don't know, that I can't see, you know, they were treasured and loved and enjoyed and encouragement when they were a real big part of my life. And I can look back on it with joy and appreciation and love and laughter, you know, all good things, even though it's not a sadness, it's a joy that I had it to begin with, you know. It's almost like that better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, you know, type of thing. But it is where we are free, where we are free to say, I don't have to have a death grip on any of the relationships in my life. You know, really I am going to honor them and nurture them and love them while they're here. And if they're here for 25 years, that's amazing. If they're here for 50 years, that's amazing. If they're here for 2 or 3 years, that's amazing. What did I learn from it? You know, what did the Lord use it to grow in me, to grow in them? But it's not something that I have to like claw for and grip so tightly, but to let everything, every body, every situation, every object in my life be something that's just
open palm.
Open palm. Yeah. Here it is, Lord. You know, like I have it for now. It's in my life. I'm using it to the glory of the Lord. And if and when that comes to an end or shifts in some way, I can honor that too, you know? And it was life-changing for me when we had that conversation, you know, and stuff was just stuff to Mim. It wasn't something, I don't know. I think women especially have a real hold because it can become part of our identity with our stuff. Yeah. Our homes become idols in our life, and we compare, especially in this social media, era that we are in, where, every influencer, every person online looks like their home is completely aesthetically perfect. There is nothing but perfection. Yeah. It's huge. It's huge homes. It's gorgeous. All of this. First of all, that's just a facade for
totally.
Turn the camera and there's a big pile of dishes or whatever, laundry. Kids' toys or whatever. It's a facade, but it can make us. Then it's like, well, I'm out of that comparison. I've got to have that. And then whatever I attain, it's like I've got to hold on to with a death grip, our homes, our cars, our jewelry, it can all just become something that's held so tightly because we make it part of our identity instead of everything that I have, that I do, it's for the Lord, for His glory. He's brought it into my life. And if and when that changes, great. And that's what she said. Mim literally said, because as long as I have, it's me and the Lord. That's what she said. She said, it's me and the Lord. And she said, and I can be in a home. I can be in a camper. I can be in a trailer. I can have a new car. I can have an old clunker that barely runs. I can have tons of friends. I can have no friends. I can have a wonderful relationship with all the people in my family and in my life, or they cannot be speaking to me. It's every single thing and person in situation is held like this, and I can love it and honor it, and then let the Lord use it, take it, grow it, remove it, change it. Yeah. There was she says, it's just me and the Lord. Yeah. And I can be with Him here, there, with them, no, not with it. That the focus was the Lord, her relationship with the Lord, and literally nothing else mattered. Everything else was just for the glory of the Lord.
Not holding a tight grip on the people in your life.
Absolutely.
Because it is the Lord who brings them.
Yes.
He is the one. And we work at it, but
for
ultimately... Sure. He's the one who allowed these people in your life.
We should be good stewards.
Good stewards,
for sure. We should be. Our children, they're our greatest gift from the Lord, and so it's like, I don't want to act like that's no big deal. I want to steward over my children well. I want to. No one's going to get it. No one's going to get it just right. No. But to the best of my ability, I want to. Get mentor and read books and, look at other families and take from this and grow my children and lead them and guide them. And I want, I want to be the best wife that I possibly can be. I want to go to marriage seminars. I want to read books. I want to learn my husband. I want to, it's like you work really hard and you foster and you do the best you can with it. But to know you don't own it. It is not yours. It's the Lord's. You didn't create it. You didn't bring it. The Lord, He is the giver. He brings those gifts into our lives, and to see it as that. Yes. to be the best, whatever home we have, we're stewarding over that well. It's clean, it's tidy, it's, organized. Like I'm doing the best I can with what I have been blessed with, whatever version of that it looks like,
Right.
And so it's like, but it's just, it's free. But you do have to, you have to be free. And there's that insecurity and comparisons and, unworthiness and not knowing who we are in Christ. It's those things that cause that death grip on those things. Who am I without my children? Who am I without this marriage? Who am I without this home? Who am I without this career? Who am I? It's like, oh, I'm a child of the King. Like, it's my identity is in the Lord and my relationship.
I'm stewarding it, but I don't own it.
That's it.
I'm stewarding it. I don't
That's
own
it.
And again, this could be, I don't know, a 5-part series. And so, because we could go into so many different scenarios and situations and types of people and personalities and all the things. But like, I think that when you cannot, sometimes you can have a victim mentality.
Oh, for sure.
And, like you said, these people are a part of my identity now.
Yeah.
They speak to who I am.
That's it.
And that is such a huge topic. But it is victimhood that makes us hold so tightly to the people in our life.
For sure.
And when we we have such a tight grip, it's not about these people. It's us. It is like God is trying to take you into new seasons all the time. He wants you to be present in the one that you're in.
Yep.
But when we hold so tightly, I can't lose it. I can't lose this person. They speak to who I am. We won't move forward anywhere.
No,
We'll be stuck in the same place all the time. I think I was when Jason and I got married, we were in full-time ministry, and I had been used to go all the time. And we got married, so much fun, but we were working out, like, really, who are we as a married couple? Who are our friends? Who are the people we're going to do life with? And all of these things. And really, it wasn't until I got pregnant with my oldest that reality shifted. But I mentally was not shifting. And my reality, my circumstances were changing. And I was not. And I thought, I'll have this baby and I can do whatever all the things I'm doing now. Just with the baby with me.
Sure. I'll just take her with me. What's the difference?
Why I thought that, I don't know. I've been around kids and babies my whole life. I'm like, I don't know why.
Where did that come from?
But it was who I was, and it was like, apart from these things, I'm not anything.
Well, I mean, if I'm not at every single function for the whole week, if I'm not at the Tuesday night women's Bible study and Wednesday night church and Thursday night youth function and Friday night, if I'm just at home with a baby, like,
or even just your career, like you're working, which is wonderful. Like, you're using your gifts, but it's like God shifts the way we use our gifts. It's not linear.
No.
And there's oftentimes he asks us to take a step back. And so in that season when I had Ada, and she's the light of our lives. She's amazing, but as an infant was very difficult.
Not an easy baby.
And I just was under the impression that this was not going to be that hard. I don't know why. It's so crazy to me. And so I just thought, I'll do everything I'm doing with a baby on my hip, and it'll be fine. Well, life got
and in fact, it's going to be adorable.
And it's going to be
in fact, it's going to be adorable. Like, I'll be more adorable. Like, I'll be at all these functions with this adorable baby. Totally.
That was not the reality in any form, but I held so tightly to the season that I had been in, was unwilling and unable to move forward because I was a victim of my circumstances, because I needed it, because I felt this is what speaks to who I am.
It's so scary. Who am I without these things?
Without it? And so then it came to a point, and Jason was incredibly patient with me in that season. And he was so good at just asking questions. Well, do you feel like you're doing well? Doing all these things. Do you feel like
you thriving?
our home is peaceful?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be better if blank? And every time I'm going, no, that's dumb. Well, it came to
I'm
a
handling
head,
this
and finally
perfectly.
I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do it. And I was struggling so terribly mentally and doing all things. So I was like, I knew God had been telling me to just stop everything that I was doing and take a step back and be home with my child. But then it was money. It was what am I going to do?
Yeah, fear.
And in that season, it's so interesting. I look back and I could not honestly say that I loved my husband and my child more than I loved my ambition.
Yeah.
Because it was a part of me. When I laid it down.
Oh, yeah. Surrender.
Which was very difficult. That was not an easy season. It was a lot of pruning. And it was a years long pruning for sure. Yeah.
But there's no freedom without surrender.
There's no freedom
without surrender.
And when I did that, getting back onto the topic of friends, I did not know how disconnected from like true friendship I really was. I had friends, I had good friends, but what he showed me when I was willing to lay that down and be fully present in that season is, number one, how to love my husband and my child more than I loved myself, more than I loved what I wanted to do. And I'm so grateful that he did that, because it was some of the best seasons of my life, being able to do what I did at that point. But what he did is he opened my eyes to friendships and to people who were in my season. And it created such a deep, unique bond with these friends that I had that created this such strong foundation of just people who I allowed them to speak things into my life. I mean, and it was a lot of work. We would, in that season, all of my friends, not all of them, but I had a few who were also stay-at-home moms. Yeah. And all made very little money. And we were just like, what are we going to do? And we all had like side jobs here and there. We'd do random things, but we would pile up car seats in each other's cars, and we would go to Chick-fil-A with all our kids, and then someone's screaming in the back, someone's throwing a fit in Chick-fil-A, someone's you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Someone blew out of their diaper, someone threw up, and it's just like, that was our life, but we worked really hard to maintain those friendships because we understood how valuable that period of time was for us. And now most of us are working, and we're in a completely new season of life, so it has shifted.
Well, that's the thing. Every season feels permanent. Yes. When you are young, it feels forever. It does. When you are young, when you are in high school, it feels so real. It's not belittling. It is a genuine feeling of, I will have these friends forever. You can't imagine a life without this best friend in it, or this group of friends, and then cut to 5 years later. I mean, you still know those people, and you could still give them a call, and they would be in your, like that. But cut to 5 years later, your circle, your life, it looks totally different. And then you're like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, these are where I meet my real, like, lifelong friends and all that. Cut to 5 years later, and it's like, you're living in a different state. You're young, married. You don't know anybody. You don't have any of those people in your daily lives. Now, again, going back to social media and this era, it's so much easier to stay connected to people, and I'm personally grateful for that. Yes. I mean, back growing up, it really was like when someone moved away, you were literally like writing letters or having to schedule time to like call them on the phone and connect and ask what they're doing and all that sort of thing. And now, I mean, it is, my goodness, there's so many different ways, to stay connected to people, and that's the good side, of where we're at in a society right now. But It is like, as far as my daily life, the in and out of my life, the people who are my tribe, that I am doing life with, it is so different in these different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are young, I do feel like you have to get some years on you to know it's going to go by so quick.
It really does.
Everything I don't know. I think I can appreciate seasons so much more now than when I was younger, because if I'm in a really difficult season, it's easier. It really is easier because I still don't know how the Lord is going to get me through it, or how he's going to work it out, or how he's going to heal or restore or whatever. But I know he will. I know it won't be forever. I know it won't be forever, and something else will be here before I know it. And so it's easier to walk through those times. Yeah. And if I'm in a season of just ease and joy and peace, and it's like everyone in my life is happy and healthy and doing well, it's like, oh my goodness, I cherish it. And it's not a dread of like, scary, this won't last forever, but it won't last forever. Like, it's like to love it, to cherish it, to revel in it, to really feel the joy of that moment, because it's changing, and you can honor what you have while you have it.
Yes.
And so those friendships that are in our life, and man, you can also look back and say that God brought me that person for that season to help walk through that stage of my life. I will never forget. It was after I had Olivia. She was very, very young. Katrina happened. Hurricane Katrina happened, and there were a few families that were displaced because of that and came to our neighborhood. And there was one family that like literally lived with my parents for, a couple of weeks, just trying to get their feet under them and all that sort of stuff. And I got pregnant with Eli, and my early pregnancy with him was so hard. I was sick, throwing up just around the clock. It was awful for several months. And I had this little baby. I mean, Olivia was 2 years old, 18 months old. And so that woman who had gotten displaced and come here and didn't know anybody and whatever, had lived with my parents. So obviously we'd gotten to like know each other. She would come and just grab Olivia, take her outside, not even take her anywhere, take her outside and just push her on the swing set.
Wow.
For 2 hours, just play with her. And I would lay on the couch and sleep or puke or whatever, and she did that for months.
Wow.
Like, it brings tears to my eyes. It's like, that's the body of Christ. That's women. That's, she was older. Her kids were, teenagers. So, cause you think, well, gosh, did you not have a friend who could do that? My friends were in the same boat I was in, it's like, they couldn't leave and come to my house, and help me or whatever. It's like, they were barely surviving as well, so, but that season of her life allowed her to just be an absolute bless. It was like, I can do some laundry for you. I can just entertain your kid.
Yeah.
I can just play.
And she looked for
go
the
for a walk
opportunity to do something. Yes.
Yes.
She saw the need.
Yes. And then moved on. I mean, was in my life for a little while. And, it was just like, man, looking back, it was like God said, here you go. You need this person. You're going to need this help.
Yeah.
And I will use this really awful thing and good will come out of it, and it was like, man, it doesn't have to be forever for it to be significant.
That's good.
It doesn't even have to be long lasting.
Yeah.
For it to be something that is significant, which encouragement to all of us to have open eyes and open ears and an open heart saying, Lord, where can you use me for a moment? Who needs help
Yes.
today? I mean, it doesn't have to be your best lifelong friend that you're there for all the time. It can be a neighbor that you barely know. What? If we are open to, Lord, use me, that can look like so many different things. I think we think of our best friends and our family and our, that it's like, oh, okay, they're going through a difficult, I'm really going to be there for them. But it's like this kind of random situation or person, he could so use you to be such a massive blessing and for it to be impactful.
Even if for just a short period
of time.
And it not have to be this long. What you said was so true and so good. And I think one of the things that Jason says often, and I've told him I'm going to steal that from you. He says, as people come into your life and leave it for whatever reason, and again, this is so nuanced. There's a difference between like somebody just life moving on and somebody entering into your life and then moving on versus like maybe toxic friendships or toxic relationships. That's a whole other topic. But in the case of just healthy, normal friendship, relationship, whatever, as they come into your life and move out of your life, he said, make sure not to burn the bridges because you never know when God will ask you to walk back over that bridge.
So true.
And I'm 33. So in the short time that I've lived life, right, we've experienced that very thing of
for sure.
Early friendships or early relationships in our lives that maybe meant a lot to us during a short period of time.
Yep.
Having had multiple times, God bring us somehow back together, connected again for a reason. And it's always been a blessing. It's always been like this. That's so funny, God, that you would so long ago, like we had just this little friendship or whatever. And now you're bringing it back around after all of this time.
Yeah.
I've seen that play out in our own lives so often. And so as we are stewarding these friendships and relationships in our lives season to season, what could God do in future seasons? And that really has to be in the forefront of our mind is I'm living for right now, but God sees eternity.
That's it.
He sees the beginning from the end.
That's it, yeah.
And I have got to do my very best in stewarding the relationships that I have in my life right now because it's not to serve me. It's so that God's purpose can be served in the future.
Yeah, for sure. We also are living in such a day and time where everybody really, really, really enjoys being a victim and having some sort of label. It's very much a part of our everyday talk, our everyday life, and so being a victim of things that didn't work out or moved on, those toxic relationships or those unhealthy things that we do need to move on from or the Lord moves us out of or whatever, it's very rare that it was all bad. But as humans and flesh, we look back on it and want to only see the bad and then talk about them negatively and talk about the experience negatively. And they were toxic and it was so unhealthy. And then all of a sudden I get to be this person with this testimony of how I survived this toxic relationship and how I had to set a boundary and move myself from it. And it becomes our whole personality, instead of saying there were great things about that. The Lord taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And even the Lord teaching you to move on or that it's time or that when you've prayed, that there is time to say, okay, Lord, they now need to be I need to step back from trying to be their savior and I need to, release that or whatever. Man, that was great. What a wonderful life lesson that everything can be seen kind of that glass half full instead of glass half empty, where it's like you can look back on the relationships that are not a part of your life now with wisdom. I'm like, man, that was so great for me to have that I learned so much from that. I learned either that I did this too much or was too, I don't know if it's like available or open or whatever. whatever it is that you received from the relationship, that you learned because of it, that you're a better version of yourself because of it, that the Lord spoke truth to you surrounding it or whatever, but to choose to make the choice to be grateful for it, to appreciate what was good about it,
Yeah.
to appreciate what you learned from it, to look back and say, oh man, I loved it when we did, they were so funny. They made me laugh, the joyful, wonderful times of it, instead of what all was negative and what all was bad and who they are and what they weren't. And, we never want to say what we weren't. We never want to look at it and say, man, I was a really bad friend,
Yes.
but what, do that.
Yes.
What could I have done? What did
Totally.
I learn
Yes.
that I either will duplicate or
Yes.
won't duplicate moving forward? But again, it's freedom.
Freedom.
There's a love, there is surrender first.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just welcomes freedom. And when you are free and you are not in the bondage of unworthiness and insecurity and all of those things that the world tries to put on us and that are so easy and so natural.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Why is our flesh so easy to indulge? I don't know. But when you can come to that place of true, absolute surrender, you can have everything and every person in my life, Lord. It belongs to you, and I'm just here. I'm just along for your ride. Whatever you want to do, however you want to use me, I'll work hard. I'll be a good steward. I'll invest, but I trust you completely.
Yes.
And to have that freedom, that really is when you can get to that place of seeing everything and everyone and every situation as a positive and something that the Lord used for your good.
For your good.
Again, even if it ended, I'm not trying to pass over the fact that there are friendships that are painful and they end hurtful. And it, for one reason or another, you invested a lot and it didn't work out. And there were circumstances that made it end in a really painful way. We can grieve that. The Lord can sit with us in that. He can understand that. He had a friend betray him. I mean, he understands our hurt and our pain, but freedom is not living there. Freedom is not, now this is my whole life.
Right.
Now I'm the woman who was wronged.
Yes.
I'm the woman who's living in pain.
Pick up your mat.
Pick up your mat. So I take
Don't
the time.
let it paralyze you.
Take the time.
Yeah.
Take the time. Like you said, I love what you said about you wrestle with the Lord. You take your grief to him. You allow him to be part of that hurt and that pain and that it's disappointing.
Yeah. But he'll never let you live in that.
Live that. That's not his plan for your life
to
to be. That's not who you are. It's a moment. It's a season. It's a thing. It's a situation. But it is not everything in who you are and your identity. And so to move on past that, say, what's next?
What's next?
What's next?
Well, he
Who's
remembers
next?
that we are, the scripture says, he remembers that we're dust.
Yeah.
We are human beings. And we are not God. And he's so gracious to meet us in our pain and our hurt and
our anger,
betrayal or anger or whatever as far as relationships are concerned, whatever we're walking through in that moment. And he's so gracious to just meet us and be with us and then gently, I'm going to pull you higher. I'm going to pull you up. I'm going to show you something about myself that now you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to experience. Yeah. Pain is tough, but now you know him as healer.
That's it. And every circumstance should lead us to a deeper understanding of the Lord. Joy and pain shows us more about the heart of Christ.
Yes.
And gets us to a deeper, more intimate relationship with him, which all of those situations in our life, every single one, joy, pain, heartache, disappointment, all those things, they should all be an avenue
Yes.
to the Lord.
Yes.
If I'm in a season of joy, I am so grateful. Like I'm going to the Lord in gratitude and thanksgiving and like, this is thank you for this for these people, for this time, for these friendships, for this situation. I'm so grateful for it. If I'm in a season of heartache, of loneliness, man, I went through such a season of loneliness. Felt like I couldn't take a deep breath. The loneliness was palpable. It was horrible. It was so unbelievably painful. But to be in a situation and in a season where I only had the Lord. I was literally stripped of every friendship. And when you are there, that place of vulnerability just says, man, this hurt, this pain points me to the Lord. He's it. He's all that. He was the lifeline, for that season. And so can I look back on it with anything other than gratitude and joy? Because I know the Lord in such a deeper, more intimate, healer, friend type of way that never would have come to me had I not been in that place of desperation. In the desert, how grateful are you for water?
Yes.
And when he is that living water for you, when there is no one else, you only can be grateful for that. Because I know the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords in such an intimate way that would not have been available to me without that.
Right. And that's the prize.
That's it.
We're promised that we will suffer, that we will walk through difficult moments. But God tells us over and over and over again in Scripture, I am with you. I will be with you. I have come before you. I am here. Like I'm here with you and for you, and I'm walking this with you.
Yep.
And I love what you said, because out of it, our perspective of him is greater.
Yes.
Our perspective of him over time as we walk with him, it gets bigger.
Oh, for sure.
And we come at, it's like you look back at some of the things that you thought about God or believed about him even 10, 15 years ago, and you're like, oh, that was such a limited point of view. But now I know him in such a different way that I don't necessarily agree with that thought. My perspective was limited.
That's it.
I would have had no way of knowing anything different. It is through the fire that we're refined.
Oh, it is.
And that our perspective widens of who he is and who he can be to us, the friend that he can be to us, his presence that can be enough.
Yep.
And we have the opportunity, like you said, to either say, this whole thing was horrible.
Yeah.
And you can leave a season and say, I don't really ever want to go back to that.
Yeah, that was unpleasant. I don't want to do that again.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
But man, I've never experienced your presence in that way.
Well, Jesus said, if it's possible, take this cup from me. Like,
Correct.
I don't really want to do this, and so it's okay to say and to have the honesty of that was really tough.
Yeah.
That was really challenging. That was really, really, really painful. And wouldn't wish that on anybody, and I don't want to go through it again, and all of those things, and say, Lord, if there is any way for me to know you that way without going through that pain, I'd really, really appreciate that. I would love that. But the truth, the intimacy, the vulnerability, when you get there and you're on the other side of it, you say, this was the blessing.
This was the blessing, and he's the prize. And well, I think that as we live our life, with all of these relationships that come into our life, go into our life, stay for a long time. I love what you said, and that we can leave the women with this encouragement that our palms are open to the Lord at all times for any area of our life, whether that's our children or our spouses or our parents or our friends or our finances or whatever that may be. God, my palms are open to you. And I don't own these things.
No.
You own it.
That's it.
I'm stewarding it.
Mm-hmm.
So help me be a steward.
That's it.
Help me be a good steward of what you bring into my life, and I will allow you to do what you want.
That's it.
And that is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
And in every season, you have to come back and remind yourself, oh, my palms
yeah.
are open.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
Yep.
I can't hold tightly to
My
that.
bad.
But what God does is he brings us these blessings of the people in our life and their blessings.
Sure.
And so I think women listening to this podcast can take away, like, obviously friendships and relationships take work, but they're worth it, even if they are here for a short period of time, and allow God to do what he wants within it.
Yep.
And don't hold so tightly to it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that we can walk away knowing that God is sovereign, he is loving, he is gracious, and he meets us where we're at. In lots of different ways. But
and there's joy in every season.
Joy in every season.
Even really, if you are in a season of real pain and heartache and loss and suffering, you can be in that and you can feel that. But to know that he is with you in it, and that he has joy for you, you know, on the other side of it.
Right. And in our pain, he shows us.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
We love you.
He's a great friend.
Love you, Lord.
All right. Well, be a good friend.
Yeah.